Okay, so coming to a nice, comfortable seat. And let's go ahead and scoot forward in the chair a little bit, assuming that that feels okay. And if you are feeling a little mellower today and you want to kind of relax in the back of your chair, that's absolutely fine. But otherwise, just finding a nice tall mountain pose, landing with your knees over your ankles, your shoulders land over your sit bones. And let's just roll the shoulders a few times before we sit quietly. Roll forward. And back again. And then just feeling those shoulder blades slide down your back towards your sit bones. They kind of squeeze in towards each other a little bit. So you have this openness across your heart and chest. Release your hands onto your thighs. Allow your eyelids to close if they're not already. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. And open your mouth. Sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Couple more times like that. Smooth, full, deep inhale. Feel that expansion of the rib cage and let the breath go. Ha. Do 3 more rounds like that, just at your pace. See if each round you can expand a little more, find a little more breath. And then after that 3rd round, just sitting quietly for a moment. Inhaling through your nose and then also exhaling through your nose. So starting to cultivate your Ujjayi breath. There is a little sound. Allow your attention to go to that sound of your breath. Observe if there's any tension in fingers, toes, the face, the jaw. There is, just do your best to soften in those places, even if you have to wiggle a little bit to get there. And then as much as possible, just really relishing, enjoying this stillness, this start to our yoga practice, and kind of this segue from one part of our day into a different part. This transition where we start to pay attention to our body and to our breath, our headspace. Maybe that's something that you haven't had the opportunity to do yet today. So really give yourself permission to go there, get curious about how things are feeling for you right now. And we're going to move right into some cat-cow here. So you can keep your eyes closed. If that feels good for you right now, you're welcome to blink them open. You can inhale, start to arch forward. Hello, Martha. As you exhale, you round in, chin towards chest. And then you just continue to move at a pace that feels really good for you today. And especially starting out, sometimes it just feels nice to really stretch everything out. So kind of taking your time. That being said, if you need a little pick-me-up, maybe you move a little faster. So always being mindful to pay attention to like what feels right for you today. It changes week to week, different things going on. Really put your mind's eye in your spine. So this is such a simple movement, but it's really great for warming up the spine, the shoulders, the head, the neck. It also helps us to start to coordinate movement with breath. So we start to find this idea of vinyasa. You have this really nice moving meditation quality. Get curious about the places in your spine that are feeling a little tighter today, a little more congested. Those places where there's a little more openness, can you send some of that feeling to the spots that are tighter? Good. So as we continue here, if you'd like to add one arm reaching forward, you're welcome to do that. And then it can just release down as you round back in. You can do the opposite arm. So you start to get into the shoulder girdle a little bit. If that doesn't feel good, you just skip it. So we're always making little modifications. Really nice work, everybody. Let's do, like if you're doing arms, let's do 2 more to each side. If you're just moving with your spine, we're doing about 4 more rounds here. And then when you're done, just start to segue into your little Sufi rolls. So starting to find that circular motion and that pelvic girdle. And you might start to get a little more sensation in your lower back here. Even the outer hips, the glutes. What's going on for you? What's happening in your body? And nice and easy, let's start to switch directions. Beautiful work, everyone. Good. So let's start to find that nice tall seat, our mountain pose. So just coming back to center. And again, you can refresh the posture here. So make any little adjustments that you need to. And at the top of class here today, let's go ahead and move into some sun salutes. So if you do like to practice these with blocks, which can be really nice by your feet, just brings the floor a little closer. You can go ahead and get those set up. And of course, if you don't have them, not a problem. If you are sitting back and you'd like to scoot forward in your chair at this point, you're welcome to do so. Just peek down again. Make sure that you've got that knee over ankle alignment. Really feel those sit bones root down. That rooted action helps you to lift taller through the sides of your waist. And then we're going to go ahead and release our arms down. There's a little gentle external rotation at the top of the arm. So you've got this cobra pose feeling across your chest. This nice sense of gentle back bending. As you inhale, let's take the arms. You can either reach out and up or forward and up, depending on what feels better, depending upon the space that you're in. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Imagine that somebody is gently tractioning you up by your wrists. Use the inhale to find more length through the sides of your waist. Use that exhale to help you ground down into your sit bones, into your feet. Perhaps you start to bring your gaze up here, assuming that that feels okay in the neck. And if it doesn't, you just keep gazing slightly forward. You might even press your palms together if that feels appropriate. And then we're going to come into our first forward fold, our Uttanasana. So you can reverse swan dive in if you feel stable and steady. Otherwise, you can just use your hands to help you roll on down. Fingertips might come to the block here. They might be resting on the floor. Allow your chin to drop towards your chest. So we're rounding in the thoracic. So nice forward fold. Let's elongate the spine. And this can feel quite intense. So again, props are really good here. If this is a lot in your body, you don't have to go down super far. On our next inhale, we're going to come into our half forward fold, our Ardha Uttanasana. So this is where you might take your hands to your shins or to your thighs, or this is where blocks can be really, really nice. That kind of gives you something to press against so you can, again, find that extension in your spine. So coming into this back bending shape, it's subtle, but it's there. These sun salutes, it's just a series of forward folding and then back bending. So just alternating. So again, like our cat-cow, really great way to warm up the spine, to help us pay attention to the spine. Simple movement that does a lot of really good things. As we exhale, we're going to come back into our forward fold. Perhaps this time it's going to feel a little easier to release your chin towards your chest so you find more length in the back of your neck. And you're listening to that beautiful sound of your breath, that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. And then on your next inhale, we roll back up to our extended mountain pose. You can also reverse swan dive out if that feels appropriate in your body. Again, get nice and long in the spine here. Feel that lift of your sternum up towards the ceiling. Maybe bring your gaze up. Maybe press palms together. And as you exhale, again, a couple of options. You can take the arms out wide, which feels kind of nice. You can bring them down the midline, which can feel good. So lots of ways to mix and match. There's no right or wrong way to do these sun salutes. And let's go ahead and just start to flow this together. So moving with the breath, which always feels really nice. As you inhale, reach up, Utthita Hastasana into Dasana. As you exhale, fold into your Uttanasana. Inhale into your Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, we fold back in. And then rooting down. Again, rolling up, reverse swan diving up. Whatever feels good for you, you can always mix and match. And as we exhale, we come back to our Samasthiti, even standing simple mountain pose. Let's do a few more of these. So inhale, reach up. Let these feel really spacious and gracious. Enjoy this fluidity happening in your body. So you inhale, find that extension. Exhale, rounding back in. And then making your way back up. Maybe just finding yourself moving into this lovely little meditative state. So we're going to do 3 more of these. You're moving at your pace. You can follow along with me if that feels appropriate for you. Sometimes it feels really nice to close your eyes here, really get inside your body. Only do that if you feel really stable and safe. These look beautiful. Good. And when you're done with that 3rd round, just pause, palms together at heart center. Allow your eyelids to close. Just take stock of how you're feeling here. What are the physical sensations happening in your body? Might be some heat. You might feel like you have a little more space. Observe if your mind has quieted a little bit. For a lot of us, the flow seems to help get us to that place as opposed to just being static in poses. Sometimes it just depends on the day. All right, let's blink our eyes open. Release your hands to your thighs here, and then just allow your chin to drop towards your chest. And I know for me, right away, I can tell that my shoulders want to get involved as I do this. So tiny movement. It's usually pretty intense. You can just pretend that somebody is gently pressing down on your shoulders. And then just take a moment too to really connect with your breath again. So it's interesting, such an important piece of our practice. It really weaves all the poses together, but we can forget about it. So bring a little more attention there. Let's inhale, lift the chin. And then exhale, right ear towards right shoulder. Might not be going very far at all. And it just depends on the day. Send your exhale to the spots in your neck, your shoulder, where this feels particularly intense. From here, let's keep right ear towards right shoulder, but start to tuck the chin a little bit. And it's going to intensify where you're feeling things. It's going to shift where you're feeling things on that left side. Good. So just lift the chin again as you inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, left ear drops towards that left shoulder. And just again, snuggle that left shoulder blade down if it's trying to help out a little. Getting curious about how this side feels different in your body, if it feels different. Keep this ear towards this left shoulder, but start to tuck your chin any amount. And then send that exhale to all of the spots on the right side of your neck where you're really feeling this. Just imagine that your breath is helping to create some space, combing out any tangles. Breath smooth and steady. All right, let's lift the chin, inhale up to center. And then just a few rounds here, just moving with the breath as you exhale, chin towards chest. Inhale, chin lifts parallel to the floor. Exhale, right ear towards your right shoulder. Inhale up to center. As you exhale, left ear towards left shoulder. Hi, Amy. Inhale up to center. Exhale, chin towards chest. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right ear towards right shoulder. Inhale up to center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Inhale up. Let's do one more complete cycle like that. Exhale, chin towards chest. Inhale. Exhale. It's like a little sun salute just for the neck. Inhale up. Exhale to the left. Good. Inhale. And then let's release our arms by our sides. Just keeping your gaze slightly forward as you inhale. Take that left arm up and over. Little side bend to the right. Exhale, release that left arm down. Inhale, right arm up and over. Good. Exhale, release. Good. And we're going to just continue with this side stretching. We'll do several rounds each side here, just moving with the breath, finding a little flow. And then we'll move towards a longer hold. Again, you're welcome to close your eyes here if that feels nice for you, if it feels safe and stable, if it helps you to focus your attention a little more. Otherwise, eyes open, gaze soft and gentle. Just enjoying this simple little flow here. Got some synchronized zoom squares. It looks good. All right, so let's say the next time you're reaching off to the right, you're gonna hold there. You modify however you need to. Sometimes bending the elbow can be helpful. That can actually kind of stretch out some of the armpit chest area a little bit, which can feel good, but you're also just welcome to keep that arm extended. Imagine that somebody is pressing down on that left thigh, helping you to anchor into that sit bone. As you anchor there, find that action of gently spinning your right ribs up towards the ceiling, even if it's just more of an idea than anything else. Breath is smooth and steady. Maybe you're starting to bring your gaze up underneath that top arm, assuming that it feels okay to do so in your neck. Good deep inhale. Exhale, release that left arm down, and then inhale. We lean off to the left, reaching with this right arm, anchoring into your right sit bone. Shoulder blades even here, squeezing in towards each other a little bit. Little twist of these left ribs up towards the ceiling, even if it's just more of a thought than anything else. Maybe gazing up underneath that top arm. A couple more really good, full, complete cycles of breath. Deep inhale. And exhale, release that right arm down. Just come back to your nice tall mountain pose. Take a couple of breaths, notice how you're feeling. Good. So let's go ahead and move towards a crescent pose. So as always, as we come into some of these like classic standing poses, you're always welcome to just stay in this basic Tadasana mountain pose position. If you would like to play with extending that left leg straight and you feel comfortable doing that, let's go ahead and do that. And you're just going to make sure that your legs, wherever you're at, are about hip distance apart. All right, so let's go ahead and inhale, take the arms out and up. And then exhale, palms press together, they come down the midline. Let's do this just a few times. So just warming up that shoulder girdle. And again, if it doesn't feel good to reach out and up with the arms, you could always reach forward and up. Exhale. Inhaling up. Exhale to heart center. One more. Inhaling, reaching up. Good. So a couple breaths here. It feels counterintuitive, but can you really firm muscle to bone in your arms so you're activating them? And it can help to make it a little easier to hold the arms up. You take breaks whenever you need to. You skip this if it doesn't feel good for whatever reason. And then I want you to think outer hips squeezing in a lot. You're going to bring your right fingertips to your left wrist. Keep those outer hips squeezing in, and then we're going to find another little side bend here in our crescent pose. You don't have to lean off very far. Feel those shoulder blades squeezing in towards each other. Make sure you're breathing. It feels a little tricky for me to breathe here, especially to fill up on that inhale. So notice if that's happening for you. Really lovely work. As you inhale, come back to center. Exhale, take your arms out wide. Nice deep inhale. And then we're going to exhale Twist to the right. So really stretch out through your fingertips for one more inhale. And then exhale, you can release your hands down. So left hand can either come to the inside of your left thigh. If twists feel good in your body, if they're a little easier, maybe you bring that left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Wherever you're at, you're just finding a little leverage to press your shoulder heads back. Even here, you can find a little bit of that idea of outer hips squeezing in towards each other. So you're almost getting this sense of core support, stability. And then you're welcome to just stay here like this for a couple more breaths. If you want to find another little side stretch in the twist, but going the opposite direction this time, reach that right arm up and over. And maybe you're gazing up underneath that top arm. Maybe you can twist in a little deeper as you press that left hand either into your outer right thigh or the inner left thigh. Good, one more deep inhale. So as you exhale, we've got our left arm underneath our right. Come back to center with your upper body, your torso, but give yourself a hug. So right elbow is on top of left. And then maybe start to lift those elbows up towards the ceiling a little bit. You might feel a little stretch, a little pull across the backs of your shoulders. If this is enough, if it feels good in your body, you stay here like this. Otherwise, maybe you bring the backs of your hands to press. Maybe palms can press. So our eagle pose arms, Garudasana arms. Breath smooth and steady. All right, so let's take a deep inhale here. As you exhale, a little twist to the right. And you're welcome to stay here like this. If you're feeling playful, maybe you start to hinge forward. Maybe that left elbow comes to the outside of that right thigh. So kind of a funky little twist here. So everything is squeezing in, but can you find a little spreading across your collarbones? It's not going to happen, but can you think in that direction? Really beautiful work. Couple more breaths in this posture. And as always, like if you try a variation that's being offered and it doesn't work, you just go back to the place you were before, you play around, you explore and see what works for you here. So one final thing here, this is especially nice if those blocks are still handy. Maybe you spread your arms open, so little deeper twist for some of us. Can feel really nice. Maybe you kind of tuck your chin, but lean your head back slightly. See your thumb with your eyeballs. Take up space here, especially if you're in this spread arm variation. Beautiful work, everyone. And then as we exhale, we're gonna unwind and we're gonna just take a little forward fold here. So like whatever that looks like in your body. Blocks can be nice, you could walk them forward. With this left leg extended, you're getting a nice hamstring stretch. Nice, of course, is relative. For most of us, hamstrings are pretty tight, so this can be rather intense. Little bend in the knee helps. Reconnect with your breath here in this forward fold. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. And then you're gonna inhale, you're gonna roll on up. So again, you can reverse swan dive out here. You could use your hands to your legs. to help you come on up. Beautiful work. And palms come to heart center. So we're going to take that little sequence to the other side. We're going to hope that I can remember everything that I did. I think I can. If you have your left leg extended straight, go ahead and bend that knee. And just remember, side to side, your variations might look different. So maybe you stay here for this left side. Maybe you go ahead and extend that right leg to straight. So more of a classic crescent pose shape with our legs. Let's try something a little different with this side. Okay, so you're going to release your arms by your sides. Let's stretch the arms forward. And then as you exhale, press the palms out and release down. So slightly different movement than what we usually do. Inhaling, palms face towards each other, but you're stretching forward. And then find that external rotation. And then exhale. You could even pretend that you're moving through molasses, so you're resisting a little bit with your arms. A couple more of these. Inhale. Good. Exhale. Do one more. Inhaling. And then exhale. Beautiful work. We're going to inhale, come up. So classic crescent pose. Again, just imagine that somebody is gently tractioning you up from your wrists. Maybe you're bringing your gaze up. And then we're going to find that side stretch. You're going to bring your left fingertips to your right wrists. And then imagine that there's like those vice grips on your outer hips, squeezing everything into the midline. As you exhale, you start to lean off to the left. Breath is smooth and steady. You're getting all of this nice side stretching through the right. That length is naturally happening there. Maybe try to breathe a little more length into that left side. And then can you twist those left ribs up towards the ceiling a little bit? Might just be a thought. Try to fill up on the inhale here. You could really anchor into your sit bones on your next inhale. Upright yourself. As you exhale, stretch the arms out wide. And again, muscle is firming towards bone. Deep inhale. As you exhale, twist to the left. Feel both sit bones pressing evenly. So in these twists, we're generating the movement in the upper body. Remember, this side might feel different. So as you release your hands down, that right hand can come either to the inside of the right thigh. If twisting feels, pretty good for you, a little easier, especially as we've warmed up, you can take that right hand to the outside of your left thigh. You're just finding a little leverage so that you can press those shoulder heads back. And you're just noticing how with each variation that we're doing here, sensation shifts, so where you're getting the stretch in your body moves a little bit. You might be bringing your gaze out towards that left shoulder, assuming it feels okay in your neck. Okay, so we're going to find our little lateral stretch in this twist here. So press into that right thigh or left thigh, and then take that left arm up and over. So we're still wrapping right ribs to the left, but now we're elongating here through this left side. Lots of things going on. And then it's just also a really pretty pose. So enjoy that. Enjoy this shape that you're making. Breath smooth and steady. Let's take one more really nice full inhale. And then as you exhale, so wind your torso back to center. Right elbow is underneath this time. Left elbow on top. Give yourself a little hug. And then start to lift those elbows any amount as your shoulder blades release towards your sitting bones. You might stay here like this for a few more breaths if you want to play with backs of hands coming together or palms reaching around and pressing. You are welcome to go there. Elbows lift, shoulder blades release. Breath smooth and steady. All right, deep inhale here. Keep rooting into your sit bones as you exhale. Little twist to the left. So this is a great place to stay. Definitely gets into the shoulders in an interesting way. Feeling a little side stretch here. Stay here like this. If you want to hinge forward, fold in. You can play with that variation. So maybe that right elbow comes to the outside of that left thigh. And, we're hugging everything in, so there's more of that rounding action happening. But can you just think to yourself a little of opening across your heart and chest? Does that give you a little more space, perhaps even a little more stretch and intensity in the pose? So find a little piece here if you'd like to play with this. Maybe spread your arms. Those kind of like your shoulder blades are stacking on top of each other. And those right fingertips on a block can be really nice. You can kind of leverage that right arm against the outside of that left thigh. And then there's a sense of chin being tucked a little bit. So the back of your neck is nice and long. But then you just move your gaze. So you're putting your eyeballs on your thumb. But you're not doing that by cranking the neck around. See how expansive you can get here on your inhale. Good. We're going to exhale, unwind, and then we take that forward fold. So this is like a version of our pyramid pose here on the right side. So getting into that right hamstring, right glute. If this is really intense, little bend in this right knee is going to help. If it's a little easier in your body, maybe you're walking your blocks forward, any amount. How is this side different in your body? What's going on? I say it often, but this is really one of the most beautiful pieces about our yoga practice, how it teaches us, it trains us to pay attention and to make little adjustments. Seems like it would be a simple thing to be in tune with your body, but it can actually be really challenging. But it is something we can practice. All right, so we're going to inhale, come back up. So just finding that nice, beautiful crescent pose, palms pressed, perhaps you gaze up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good, so that was a nice long crescent pose sequence with a lot of laterals and some twisting. Let's go ahead before we move into some breath work, just get into the hips really quick here. So a couple of options. As always, you can take your right ankle above that left knee. If there's any sensation happening in your knee joint, flexing the foot can be helpful. You can even do that with your hand and just give the foot a little feedback. If this variation, for whatever reason, isn't working for you today, you can simply open up this right leg to any degree. And then you might, if you're in this variation, you might take that right hand, gently press back behind you. If you're in the seated version, you could be taking your right hand and pressing down. We're just going to keep this really, really basic today. We've already done a lot of other things. So let's just be on each side for a couple of minutes. Bring your attention back to your breath. Maybe at this stage of the game, you start to stretch the breath out a little bit. So the inhale gets a little longer. The exhale gets a little longer. This hip stretching can be really, really intense, especially when we're holding a pose for any amount of time. I know for me, it's hard not to like think about the places that are hurting a little bit, where it's a little bit intense. Other thoughts can kind of like start to pop into your mind. Just observe if that's happening for you, and you just smile if it is, and then you try to come back to your breath, and you might have to do that many times. For many of us, it is easier to sort of get into a groove when we are flowing a little more with the breath. So even though we're static, maybe you can play with the idea of letting your breath be that flow. Even though the physical shape is, static. Got a few more breaths here on this side. Do less if you need to. Maybe play with going a little deeper if that's available to you. Really nice work. So let's go ahead and make our way back to that mountain pose. And as we move into the second side, know that what you did on this right side, you don't necessarily have to do it on this left side. So options here, get that external rotation in that left thigh, any amount, just landing with that knee over the ankle, maybe taking your hand into your thigh, and then gently pressing back. And then of course, your other option here is to cross right ankle over that left knee. Flexing this foot can be really nice, especially if there's any sensation in your knee. It just engages all of these muscles, so it offers a little protection. And in this variation, you might be feeling plenty just sitting here like this. It can be quite intense. If you're a little more open, maybe you use the strength of your arm to gently press down towards the floor, and that might help you to find a little more stretch, a little more release. What does this side feel like in your body? How is it different than the other side? Okay, a couple more good breaths. And if you want to do a little less, do a little less. You want to see if you can stretch in a little deeper, you're welcome to do that. Beautiful work, everyone. So you're going to make your way back to your mountain pose. And let's just do really basic alternate nostril breathing. We're going to focus on inhaling through that left side, exhaling through the right side, which is more stimulating to the rest, the parasympathetic nervous system, so the rest, recharge, the heal kind of mode. So as you know, we're going to use we use our right hand today. We'll keep it kind of classic. Give the hands a little wiggle out. And then we're going to block our nostrils. So you could do it with your thumb and index finger. You could do it with the thumb and middle finger. Any scenario works. If you like that classic shape, you bend your second and third finger in towards your palm. And then it's like you're kind of making one bigger finger with your ring and pinky finger. And then you can place those two. So there's that bony part of the nose. Go a little lower where that cartilage is. And we don't have to press very hard at all. And then just notice too that this right elbow likes to lift a little bit. So try to keep those shoulder blades releasing down. You can close your eyes here. Take a nice deep inhale through both nostrils. Full complete exhale through both nostrils. All right, so you're going to block the right nostril. Inhale left. Block left, exhale right. So again, just super simple today. Block right, inhale left. Block left, exhale right. 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 Block right, inhale left. And block left, exhale right. And release that right hand down. Inhale through both nostrils. And then exhale through both nostrils. And then just maybe observe how you feel here. And after that calming breath, let's go ahead and move towards some form of shavasana. So really more of a state of mind than anything, this sense of surrendering, of deep relaxation. You might just stay exactly where you are and find that. You're welcome to take a little forward fold here. That's especially nice if you have a table or a chair in front of you that you can rest on. You're also welcome to come into just a classic shavasana laying on the floor if that is easy for you to do. Just find a spot where you can be, where you can soak up these final moments that we have together. Give your brain and body an opportunity to assimilate all of this work that we've done. Just melting into peaceful, restful shavasana. Asato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma mritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. So let your next inhale be deeper. You can open your mouth sigh, the breath out, let it go, ha. And then just bring some gentle movement back to your body. So circle, ankles, wrists, wiggle fingers, toes, stretch out, whatever feels good here. It's kind of like you're waking up. And as you're ready, you're gonna just place your palms in a pile on top of your heart. So sending your body love and gratitude. We're sending each other love and gratitude. Such a gift to be able to work like this together, to move like this together and support each other. Just promise yourself you're going to carry this good feeling that you've created with you into the rest of your day ahead. Finally, just bow your head with a smile. Terrific work today, everybody.